Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. It's Erica here from Me To You Paper Crafts, and I have a fun fold card for you today. It's actually for tomorrow. And it is a card I received during a card swap. And it's a very, very simple card, but I think it is so effective. It's just I'm calling this a half frontal fun fold, because half of the front of the card is cut away, and then there's this panel that stands up and features two beautiful vases with some simple flowers in there. And this Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you know, she just did the outlines of the flowers. She didn't color, and it's quite effective, especially with that black background. And then she has "Hoping Your Day Blooms with Happiness." Very, very cute card with some really fresh DSP, which is now retired. So I'm going to bring this card up to date with a new DSP and some different colors. So the stamp set I'm using today is called Varied Vases. We currently in our annual catalog have 2 vase stamp sets, and I think they make great little cards, you know, just to say I'm missing you, or hope you're having a great day, or, you know, happy birthday. And here they are here in the annual catalog on pages 60 and 61. So Varied Vases, and then there's this Vibrant Vases. So one, I believe, came out during celebration of last year, and then they carried it forward into the annual catalog. So there's lots of variations if you get both. This one has the more long-stemmed flowers, and the other one has sort of shorter ones. And they're 2-time stamping, meaning that there's an outline, and you can also use the second stamp to ink up and put on the top, or you can just use what they call what do they call that? Not lineless. I can't think of the term right now. But rather than having lines around them, it's just a straight image, which creates, you know, a beautiful watercolored look. And some leaves here, and a variety of different shaped vases, some with patterns, some without. Okay, so really, really, I love this just for you. I love the way they changed the font there. So a really nice stamp set, and of course there's a couple of samples on the page to give you some ideas, and of course Pinterest. Now with Pinterest, all you have to do is search for the name of the stamp set. So if you go and put Stampin' Up! In, so Stampin' Up! And then the name of the stamp set, and you will get, you know, tons of ideas. And you can more or less do the same thing on YouTube. So that's what we're using, and they come with a coordinated punch called the Vases Builder Punch. So you can punch out some of the leaves, the little tulip, and the 3 different shaped vases. So a very versatile stamp set if you're looking for something for fun. There's even that, you know, birthday wishes, hoping your day blooms with happiness. So yeah, a lovely little stamp set for you to get. So I'm going to give you the cardstock measurements here, but they will be posted on the blog. You just have to go to my From Me To You Paper Crafts blog. And if you'd like to order from me, if you live anywhere in Canada, you can order. This is the new April host code. My host code works by, if people use my host code, which comes out every month, then I enter you into a draw to win some type of embellishment or a spool of ribbon or something like that that I can mail out to you. So we start off, if you take a regular sized piece of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, you're going to cut it at 4 1/4, and then you're going to score this at 5 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to just pull out my little trimmer or my little scoreboard here, and I'm going to score this at 5.5. Really simple. And then I'm going to pull out my trimmer and I'm going to cut this. Okay, so I like to always score my cardstock, and then I like to pull out my bone folder, and I like to just give it a really crisp edge by burnishing that edge. It makes the card lie down flat. So the next thing I need to do is to pull out my trimmer. I could have done the scoring on my trimmer at the same time, but I find those little scoring boards very, very handy. I have put in a request for Stampin' Up! To come out with their own version, which would be great. All right, so what we want to do here now is that we're going to cut off, the front of the card. We're going to take a strip off here. So you want to line this up on your trimmer. You're going to line this up at 1 3/4. So 1 3/4. Make sure it's butted up along the edge. And look down here to make sure you're at 1 3/4, that your paper isn't a little bit skewed. So 1 3/4 and 1 3/4 at the bottom. Make sure you have your cutting blade, and you're going to cut down to 5.5, which is where your score mark is for the center of the card. So I'm going to just cut that down to that score line. So I went a little tiny bit beyond, but that should be okay. And then I'm just going to use paper snips and snip off that extra piece. So let me pull out my snips. So this is the front of the card, and I'm going to just cut I think I'll cut on the inside. I want to cut, you see where you have the mountain? I want to cut just to the left of that mountain and get rid of that bulk. Like so. There we go. So there you now have the front of your card. Save this because you can always use that to punch out leaves or whatever. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just flattening that edge from the trimmer. I think I pressed too hard. Really key thing about using your trimmer is you do not need to press that, the cutting blade down at all. Do not do that. It dulls the blades, and it doesn't create such a clean cut. So just be aware of that. Okay, I can safely glue on my DSP strip here. So let me pull out my silicone mat, and I'm going to run some tape runner on the back of this strip. And along the sides. And I'm going to stick this on here. Being the avid crafter that I am really hoping that all of you get some time during the day to put a little project together. This is a great time to really remember your family and your friends and your neighbors by popping things in the mail or dropping things off into their mailboxes. Okay, next step is we're going to stamp. I've got these two pieces cut out here. These pieces measure Well, the strip measure is 5 1/4 by 1 1/2 of DSP, and the this piece is Mossy Meadow, and this measures 2 3/4 by 3 1/2, and then the Whisper White layer is 2 1/2 by 3 1/4. And like I said, all of these measurements will be in the blog post. So for those of you who watch me directly on YouTube, if you subscribe and ring that little or click that little bell, you will get a reminder that I have posted a video. If you are a subscriber to my blog, then you will get an email telling you that I've created a blog post, and there will be a link to the video. So you'll have two ways of getting connected to my social media channels. Okay? All right, so we're going to design this, and we're going to do some simple stamping. Now, just to make it easy, you can stamp some of the vases and then punch them out, but for today I'm going to do something so simple. I've just chosen 2 different colors of cardstock. I've picked some of the colors out of the DSP. I've chosen some Melon Mambo, and I'm going to pull out a little bit of, this is called Blushing Bride. Just pull those out of my scrap pockets, and I'm going to punch one vase in one color. Simple. And I'm going to punch another vase in the pink. When you have builder punches like this, you can save paper by cutting thin strips, because if you punch this from a wider strip, it's going to punch everything out. Now, you know, if you're not going to use that on your project, there's really no point in wasting paper. So I often have just these strips that I keep in my scrap pockets, and then I can use them for punching. Okay, so here are my 2 little vases, and now I want to do some stamping. Now, we have this great, what's called a piercing mat, and I always suggest you have a little bit of foam underneath when you're using photopolymer stamps. So these are our clear stamps. And I do find a lot of success with our silicone mat because it's a little bit cushiony. And so I do find the photopolymer stamps very well on that as well. And of course, I do all my gluing on there. All right, so let's build up our flowers. And there's 2 sheets here. So I quite like this. So what I think I might do is, rather than do the outline like the other demonstrator did, I think I'm going to choose I want to show you the watercolor image and an idea for getting two-tone coloring on there. So I'm going to do that one, and I think I will do, let's do this one. Let me just put that on a tiny little block. It's also advisable that you use a block that kind of matches the size of your stamp. And let's see, I need a couple of stems. So I'm going to use this stem. And I might do a couple of leaves. Whoops, that flipped over on me. Oh no, that's correct. Okay, there's a stem. And I might do maybe a few little leaves. Oh my gosh, this is a tiny, tiny, tiny little stamp. Okay, let's see how that works out. So let's put that aside. Now the vases are going to be, I'm going to put dimensionals on those to pop them up a little bit. So on here I need green stems, so I'm going to pull out Old Olive. My card base is Old Olive, so I'm going to use Old Olive for my stem. And the vase will pop on top of the stem. So I just want now, let me see. Let's do one over here, like that. And then I think this longer flower, it's like a delphinium, I'm going to do on this side. So I'm going to put this one in this, let me think, same direction. I think. And I'm going to do a few little leaves along the stem. There we go. And now I want to do this flower like this. So I'm going to get rid of the green. And I want to show you something. So I'm going to do an opposite thing. So I think I want this vase over here. And I'm going to do this vase over here. And I'm going to, now I wanted to show you this trick. Okay, so I'm going to take, my Melon Mambo ink, and I want Blushing Bride ink. So I'm going to show you something. So this one, I'm going to do a little bit of Blushing Bride. Then I'm going to take my Melon Mambo Stampin' Write marker. I love these for actually coloring on my stamps. And I'm just going to, you know, lightly dab a few dots on here. And before I stamp it, I'm going to huff on it. And then I'm going to stamp it. So you see how you get two colors on there. Okay. So now on the second one, I think I'm going to do this in full strength pink. Actually, I don't have the right stem for this one. I've made a mistake. So hang on a second. I'm going to do these tiny little flowers here, I think. Yeah, see there's another stem here with the two flowers on here, but it gives you the outline. I didn't want to use the outline this time. So I'm going to grab, you know what, maybe I'll just do a real simple little tulip. So where's the fill-in tulip? It's right here. And if I'm using the tulip, Let me just pull out another little block. Oops. Here's my little tulip here. So I'm going to do that in the pink and do this straight up like that. And then there's a tulip leaf in here. Let's pull this one out. Now, I also find that for stamp sets that have a lot of little images, I like to have a lot of little blocks. So I think I have probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 of these tiny blocks. Just so that I don't have to, you know, clean them and then put another stamp on it and then clean it, put another stamp on it. Because often I'm designing something on the inside of my card and I'm also designing the envelope. So unless you remember to ink and do all of those at once, just having a few extra blocks is a lot quicker and easier. That's just how I prefer to work. And blocks, you know, if you place any orders that are over the Canadian $200, you earn Stampin' Rewards. So that's free stuff that you can always add blocks to, especially the smaller ones, because they're not very costly. Now I'm going to bring back my old olive, and I'm going to ink up my leaves. And I'm going to stamp off on one of them. And then I might have one going let me think, this way. No, I'm going to do the other way. Like maybe that. Overlap them a little bit. And maybe one more. There we go. Okay, there's so many different ways that you can do your flowers with this stamp set. It's kind of fun to keep building. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, now I just want to double check my greetings in here. I might use this tiny little hello, and then I think I'm going to do the same thing, hoping your day blooms with happiness. Or you are simply the best. We could do that one too. So I'm going to pull out the little hello, and for this card I'm going to use, I think, black ink on here. So here's my little hello, and let's pull out my Memento black ink. Now my vases are going down here, so let me, let's see, I might do this like right here and overlap that flower. There we go. I like to do a little bit different things. Okay, now before I mount these on my dimensionals, I want to glue this onto the smaller base, which is this piece here. So let's put a little bit of glue on here. center that. Like that. And I think I might adhere it to this. Now, if you want to find the center of your card, then the card is, of course, 5.5, and half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So I could take a pencil and just mark I'm going to mark 2 3/4 here. Just a little tiny tick mark at the bottom, and then I can erase that. Okay, and I'm going to run, I'm going to put a little bit of sticky strip on here because I don't want this to fall off. I will put, let's make sure I put it on the right spot. The right orientation, I meant. So I'll put a little piece here, and then I'll put a little piece here. Like that. And take out my take a pick tool, and we'll just drag that along the edge, and that tape should come right off. Okay, and then let's find that little center mark. So this piece measures 2 3/4, and I'm not sure what half of 2 3/4 is, but I'm just gonna eyeball that part. Now this doesn't go right down to the bottom, but watch the top of your card. You don't want it to go over the top. So I'm just going to eyeball that and do it like that. Okay, now I can put my little, try and look at your punched images, because sometimes you can really tell that there is a front and the back. Some punches create a little tiny bit of an edge. So I'm going to pull out my tiny, don't I have one already going? I do. My tiny little glue dots, not glue dots, sorry, dimensionals. So these come in 2 different sizes. You can get these tiny ones, and you can get the larger ones. I think that's a little bit too big. You can cut them in half as well. Let's try and get that one straight. The straight edge at the bottom. And then while these are out, I'll just do these ones on here like that. Okay. So now I can place these on my card. So I wanted to do this one. I have to put this a little bit lower. Just wiggle that off, because of the leaves. And then I'll put this one over on here. I might put that one right at the bottom. I think that looks looking okay, but I think I'm going to color in this little leaf. There is a there is one of these, you know, the inside of the leaf. I could use that. See, I told you, I have a lot of these little, I have quite a few of these little blocks. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to stamp it in the green, and then I'm going to stamp it off before I stamp it on again. So stamp it off on my paper, and then I'm going to hover over. You want to get your head right over it. Hover over and then ink it up. Hover over, ink it up. I hope my head's not in it. If it is, it is. I had received an email from a hair salon that I went to, oh my gosh, just years and years ago, when I forget, there was some transition with the hairdresser that I have been going to for years and years, and she moved to another salon, and I didn't know where she was, so I lost touch. Anyway, so I started to go to this other salon. Anyway, I just got an email. I'm obviously on their email list still. I got an email, and they are considering somehow mixing up the color for some of their clients, those with darker hair, because blondes are a big challenge. So for the darker haired clients, they were thinking of mixing up the color that they've used in the past and somehow delivering that to their clients with a brush, an applicator brush, so that we can do our own root touch-ups, because going from hair that's colored in a salon to going to a box dye, well, if you talk to your hairdresser, she would just about freak right out if you did that. So I had talked to my hairdresser, and she said yes, their salon is thinking about it, but apparently there's a lot of insurance issues, both with the salon itself as well as the companies that they buy their hair products from. So there's a few hurdles with insurance. I suppose, you know, if you get it in your eye, you know, something might happen. Anyway, she's going to keep me apprised, because I definitely need to do something. I'm starting to get a little bit desperate, or I'll just let my hair, I mean, yeah, never mind. I'll just let my hair grow out. But my husband's kind of giving me these funny looks these days. Anyway, it is what it is. Okay, so now I digress too much. So now I'm going to take a piece of Whisper White for the inside. This is the normal panel 4 by 5 1/4, and I am going to normally I like to stamp first, and then stamp first before I adhere it. But you know what I can do? I'm going to position it in here, make sure it's lined up well. Okay, I'm going to fold over my flat, and I'm just going to take my pencil, and I'm just going to put a little mark here, a little mark here, and a little mark here, just so that I can see where to stamp the greeting on the inside. Yeah, that's a great idea. So I said hello on the front, and hoping your day blooms with happiness, or you are simply the best. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think I'm going to do you are simply the best. Yeah, I've obviously used this greeting quite a bit because it's dyed quite black, or it's stained. So I'm going to use this one. And I need a longer block for this. Okay, and again I'm going to use my black ink. Now I'm going to take away this mat, even though I should really use it. Well, actually I'll line it up on my grid paper. it's a little bit see-through, so you can see to line it up, because I need that cushion. And now I'm going to, ooh, it's just going to fit in there. Between my pencil marks. Okay, perfect. Now I keep an eraser on reserve just for my crafting. I don't want it to get too black. So I'm just going to remove those little pencil mark. Oh, I don't know where that came from. What is that? Oh, you know what? I'm going to try my new little sander that I bought. It's a gimmick, and I don't know if it works that well. Let's give this a go. It's going to make a bit of noise. Yeah, that took off enough, I think. Oh, that worked pretty well. So you can contact me if you're interested. This is called Couture Creations. A couple of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators I know, after we came back from a convention, we heard about these and we bought them. But they don't come with a sanding tip. They only come with an eraser. Well, an eraser is not going to take any marks off your paper. So we actually, we all seem to have this other eraser called it's a little sanding eraser. It's this sanding eraser. These are non-Stampin' Up! Tools. This is called the Mono Sand and Rubber Eraser. So I cut off parts of the sanding part, and I just shaped it and stuck it in here so that I get the sander. So that worked pretty well. There you go. There's a little cheat for you. And more money to spend. But that's okay. Okay, we have to have the tools, don't we, ladies and gents? Okay. So now I'm going to adhere this to the inside of my card. And then our card will be pretty well finished for this Fun Fold Friday. I love the spring colors. Daffodils are pretty well almost finished in Victoria, and the tulips are now up in everybody's gardens except mine, because I used to get a lot of deer, and well, as soon as those heads popped up, their heads popped up, and there were no more tulips to be had. So I don't bother planting them anymore. I just buy them from the store, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. I haven't been able to buy any because I don't go out. I stay home like a good girl. Okay, so there's our card for the day. I kind of think it needs something else, maybe a couple of little embellishments. So I might add a few little, I think I'll just add some simple rhinestones on here, although we do have these fantastic colored rhinestones. One is from our Peacock Suite. And then I have these new champagne, no, that doesn't go with that, new champagne ones. Here we go, these ones, look at these. So I could add a couple of little pink ones or green ones on there. Oh my gosh, I have another decision to make, you guys. Okay, so let's take out, where are my paper snips? Here they are. So let's do, I think I might want to do a couple of little green ones here. So I might do one here. I might do a combination of pink and green. I think I can get away with that. One here. And maybe a third one here. Okay, so what do you think? I think that's a cute little card. So you can go ahead and make a whole bunch of these and send them out to your friends just to say hello from a distance. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really and truly do appreciate it. I am really trying hard to get up to 1,000 subscribers so that I can also do YouTube live videos. I'm currently doing Facebook live videos 4 times a week over on my From Me to You Paper Crafts Facebook channel. If you'd like to join in, you are more than welcome. Tomorrow, actually, we're going to be making a, what are we making tomorrow? I think it's a little box tomorrow. And so they are at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, and Saturday mornings. And I'm doing this just to get you crafting. It's really not meant to sell you anything. I just want you to craft and get some color inspiration in your life during this difficult time. And meet some other crafters online, and that's really my main focus. Although I do, I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I do run a business. So if you're interested, if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you are interested in purchasing supplies from me, that would be absolutely wonderful. I'd really appreciate your business. So thank you again. So it is From Me to You Paper Crafts. You can find me online. And again, remember to use my host code. This is posted on that blog as well. And so this video will come out along with a blog with all of the measurements and a link to this video so that you can watch it again. Thank you. Love you guys. Take care out there, okay? Kind of be good girls and good boys and stay home. Okay, bye for now.